Welcome to the Hot Seat Show on a beautiful Monday afternoon. I am Trent, your host, as we're going to recap Week 13 of the college football season. Let's talk about it. So we had multiple, really only two decent matchups this week as the SEC took their annual bye week, third week of November, where they would play FCS teams and the worst of the worst group of 5 teams. Now that they moved to 9 conference games, we're probably still going to see this. They're just going to play one less conference game early in the season, so I don't think this is ever going to go away, so get used to it. But yeah, we had multiple monster games. If you didn't notice, there was no last-minute locks episode on Friday. That was because I was out of town, so I wasn't able to make that. I made a post about it, which is unfortunate because we had our best week of the entire college football season prediction-wise. We'll get to that later. Yeah, let's talk about some of these games. So let's start off with 3:30, and this was really the big one that we were all waiting for. This is the playoff game, the eliminator game, and that's USC at Oregon. So USC, I think, was criminally underranked. I think they were being held back by their Illinois loss, which I know Illinois lost again, so they'll stay unranked. But Illinois was ranked last week. So USC was really getting held down all the way down to 15 behind teams like BYU and Vanderbilt. When they had some decent wins, they traveled to Autzen. And a lot of people actually thought USC might win this game, in that if Oregon lost, they would be out of the playoff. Or Oregon still could miss the playoff at 10-2 if they lose to Washington, depending on how bad that loss potentially could be. But I do think Oregon is safe for now. Yeah, Oregon goes ahead. They win 24-17, or 42-27. Oregon always had a 2-possession lead in this game. They were practically up 14 throughout the entire second half. And I think by this performance, Dante Moore, I think, has really propelled himself to go to the NFL draft this year instead of next year. I've talked about it before, how I thought that Dante Moore was one of the quarterbacks that, you know what, maybe you should wait a year. Fernando, maybe, I think he could probably wait too, but I think he's probably ready enough to go. I didn't know if Dante Moore in his first year, or I guess he started at UCLA, but his first year starting at Oregon at a major team, if he should go to the draft, and he really put on a show yesterday or 2 days ago. And then in that Iowa game, he really showed ball placement on the road in bad weather with backup receivers. Dante Moore was 22 of 30, 257, 2 touchdowns and a pick. That pick was, I'm pretty sure it was early. Not Mendoza. Maava, USC's quarterback, was 25 of 43, 306, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He did not play clean at all, and that's kind of why this the score the way it was. USC missed a field goal at the end of the half. They also could have scored. They couldn't get. So, that could have brought them closer. But, 28-14 at half on the road in Oregon. That's a tough task to get past. Oregon should be locked for the playoff. Even if it lost to Washington, if they were to lose, I think would be close. I think they're going to win. I don't want to spoil all my predictions for last minute rivalry week. And talking about rivalry week, we're going to be doing a video every single day. I'm going to try to get some guests on the show. Still trying to get Juck on. It's so busy now. But he'll definitely be on sometime. We're going to be doing videos every day. I'm going to try to do a preview video every single day, and then we'll do our predictions at the end of the week. Oregon, they stopped the run really well against USC. Only had 62 rushing yards if you don't include sack yardage, which I think is stupid that we include that. Oregon ran the ball very well. They had 183 rushing yards on the ground. Their freshman running back, Dierre Hill Jr., had 7 yards per carry. And the thing that's plagued USC plagues them again. They couldn't run the ball, and they couldn't get a stop. And actually, they did get a stop, but they couldn't get enough stops. Oregon, they have severely improved on defense. I think they are playoff ready. Before I thought they were playoff capable, I think they are playoff ready. This team looks completely different than how they looked against Penn State and Indiana. That team was kind of clunky. He's trying to work through things. It was either the offense wasn't good or the defense wasn't good. They couldn't get a complete game in. They looked super complete. And if Ohio State loses to Michigan, and they beat Washington, they will go to the Big Ten Championship for the second weekend or the second year in a row to do a rematch versus Indiana. And I know the Big Ten just released their tiebreakers for the season, and I think it was if Oregon and Ohio State lose, then Michigan will be the one going to the playoff because Michigan lost to USC and Oregon beat USC. So that is, I think, all I have for that. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones. I'm trying to think. So yeah, Oregon. I guess the other thing, was kind of an emotional win. So I wonder if that might impact them for the Washington game. I don't know. We'll talk about it another time. So the next game I want to talk about was, and this one was kind of a sleeper. This one was, I think, a noon game. That was number 22 Missouri on the road in Norman at number 8 Oklahoma. This game was not a super interesting game. The only thing about it that I thought was somewhat interesting was, okay, Oklahoma has 2 losses, 1 more loss, and they're out. They still have to play Missouri and LSU. If the emotional win of beating Alabama on the road, which that is a very emotional task to do, is to beat Alabama on the road, will they sleepwalk Missouri or maybe LSU then lose out of the playoff? And they did, and they still won. This was Brett Pabula's first game back for Missouri ever since that lower body injury against Vanderbilt. Remember, game day was at that one, and that game wasn't very good either. He went 22 of 36, 231, and 2 interceptions in his first game back. He did not play very well. They were shut out in the first half. It was 14-6 at halftime, and then the final score was 17-6. So, only 3 points scored in the second half. This game was not very interesting. Not much happened. Mateer was somewhat efficient, 14 of 30, 173, and 2 touchdowns. And it is starting to be very clear that in the preseason it was what's their running backs? Oklahoma's running back's name. It's something Otten. Jadenot. Cadenot is, I think, in the NFL. Jadenot. They might be siblings. I don't know. It was all about him transferring from, I think, Cal. I might be wrong. I think he transferred from Cal. And it was all about him in the preseason. He hasn't really done anything all year. I think there's parts been injuries and he just hasn't been starting. But Satania, he is their clear number one option. Sure, Mateer's good, but he's injury prone. But yes, Satania, super explosive. He had 109 receiving yards on only 3 receptions. He had that very long slant that went all the way to the house for a touchdown. He is their best offensive weapon. Mateer, if you get the Mateer that played against Michigan in week 2, then maybe. But ever since then, ever since the thumb injury, which seems like it's healed, still not super, super healthy. Yes, he hasn't looked the same, and he never plays clean. He played clean in this game. He played clean in the last game. I just want to see that a little bit more consistently against a team that's I want to see a team of, I don't know how to explain. It's just, their offense isn't good. I want to see Mateer. He tries to play Superman and then becomes he tries, but he's just not Superman. He tries to be Superman and it's not working. The only difference is their defense is you only scored 17 points. You controlled the ball. You had the ball for the entire game. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Mateer. He has 9 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. He was supposed to be the Heisman front runner halfway through the season. And in the preseason, he was the Heisman everywhere. But again, Oklahoma's offense, it's so slow. They can barely, they can kind of run. And it's if they're in the playoffs, if your defense does not play well, or at least play fine, and if your offense doesn't play clean and Mateer has an interception or 2, you're losing. You will lose. And that's why I don't think Oklahoma's going to win a national title. I don't think they get past the quarterfinals, or maybe even the first round. I'm not a big believer in Oklahoma, but they did beat Alabama. But maybe Alabama's not what we thought they were. Maybe Florida State, Alabama's coming back. I don't know. So the third game I wanted to talk about was BYU, number 11 BYU, playoff hopeful Big 12 title BYU, heading on the road to Cincinnati. And there was some confusion with this game because this was the big noon game, but this was not the game on at big noon. Ohio State Rutgers was, which of course it was. Of course Ohio State, like, big noon kickoff is at a game, and then the big noon game is not at that game. It's just because they had to force feed Ohio State and force us to be at big noon, which we'll be at next week, which I'm fine with the Michigan game being at noon, but still. But yeah, BYU, what an impressive win on the road. BYU has been great on the road. Obviously, the Texas Tech game wasn't great, but on the road at Utah, at Cincinnati. I think they also had another road game. I can't remember. But yeah, they hang on the road. They had a 10-7 lead at half. They kind of always controlled this game until late. And then they were up 20-7 in the third. Cincy comes all the way back. They're down 20-14, I think, with the ball. And then BYU forces a fumble, which should have been a strip six, but they blew it dead because they thought he was down. BYU gets the fumble, thinking he was down. They review it. It's not down. It's a fumble, which in the play got returned, but since the whistle was blown dead, it wasn't returned. And that's why, you would have had an instant pick six. But yeah, BYU scores, try to go for two, don't get it, and that's how you get the 26-14. And with BYU now, if they win next week against UCF, they are locked up for the Big 12 championship game. And actually, let me just see are there any locks for conference champions? I gotta scroll. I don't even know. Big 12 title. Has anyone locked up a spot? I'm gonna cut this part out. I don't think so. I'm not even going to. I don't think so. So I guess they still have to win, and then Texas Tech has to play West Virginia. And if they win, which I think they will go to the Big 12, and BYU will do a rematch against Texas Tech in Arlington in Texas Tech's backyard. I actually wonder if are they closer? Is Lubbock closer to Dallas than Austin is? I don't know, but that will be at AT&T Stadium. And talking about that stadium, I went to a UFL game in Arlington, and the stadium that the game was in was probably half a mile away from AT&T Stadium. And if you don't know, that is the biggest stadium I've ever seen. That thing is so big. It is so much bigger than you think it is. It is so tall. It is that the roof is so tall. It is like you look at it and you're like, oh my God, this thing is so big. Pause. But yeah, so that will be in Arlington, AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World. If they win next week against UCF, you can't overlook that game. BYU has had close games before. They had an overtime win versus Arizona. I think they also had a close win versus Colorado. But yeah, Bear Bachmeier did not play clean against Texas Tech 2 weeks ago. I guess it would have been 3 weeks ago now. And if they want to win in 2 weeks, they're going to have to play. That score of the Texas Tech BYU game was 29-7. So that was a blowout. That was Chris Fowler. And it was great seeing Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit call a game that wasn't a nighttime SEC game, or at least just an SEC game. I miss when you would be able to call some Ohio State games. There were some memorable games that he could. 2016 Michigan was one of those, double overtime. But that's all I have for that game. The next game, this was a night game, and this was the one game I got wrong. On our predictions, I went 9-1. I've been begging all year for a perfect week. We have 1 week more. We can still get a perfect week. There's more of those playoffs, but like with the playoffs, it's like there's not 10 games. So it doesn't feel as right. I was so close, and I picked Pitt too. I originally picked Pitt to win that game. I switched my pick to Georgia Tech because I got convinced. I got convinced. I thought it was, this is a playoff game. They know they're not going to overlook it. It's at home. It's senior day. It's a night game. It's like, there's no way. And then Pitt played phenomenal. Looked like a different team against how they played against Notre Dame. Mason Heitenshell, I doubt he will be playing for Pitt next year. He's going to be one of the best, I think, portal additions. And we'll talk. I'm excited to see what the portal quarterbacks are because, is Nico going to transfer again? He probably will. We'll see maybe where he goes. But yeah, Haynes King did not play well. Uncharacteristic game. He was 27 of 41, 257 in the air, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He also had a rushing touchdown, and he threw a pick six while trying to make it a one-possession game, and that would have been the thing to tie it late. It wouldn't have tied it then, but late, that would have tied it. When Georgia Tech, it was a one-possession, it was like 35-28, and Pitt had the ball on a third down. That game would have been 35-35. And then this could have been a 42-35 game instead of 42-28. And Georgia Tech could have had a chance to tie it or have a Hail Mary or something. And no. You throw the pick six. That's a 14-point swing. But yeah, I guess maybe it would have tied because it's a 14. I don't know. I'll have to check again. But yeah, terrible decision. Terrible play for Haynes King. Matt Heintzel played well. He was 20 of 27, 226 and 2 touchdowns. Again, looked very different than how he looked against Notre Dame. He's obviously I think he's a true freshman. Pitt ran the ball for over 200 yards, and that's kind of been the Achilles heel of the Georgia Tech team is their defense. Their defense is horrible, kind of like Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a very good defense, but if your defense doesn't same with Oklahoma. If your defense doesn't play well, and your quarterback who's forced to be Superman, Haynes King, John Mateer, you're gonna lose. You're going to lose, and that's what happened. They lost by 14. So obviously we want to talk about the winners, not the losers first. So Pitt, we'll talk about Pitt. Pitt, they will need help. If they win out, if they beat Miami next week, they will not get into the ACC title alone. They need at least SMU or Virginia to lose a game. Not both. They only need one of them. So that means SMU losing to Cal. At Cal, they could lose that game. And then Virginia losing at home, I think it's Virginia Tech. There might be an away game. I don't remember. Yeah, Georgia Tech likely out. Second conference loss. They'll probably lose to Georgia, which will bump them out of the rankings, which is also AP poll. I know we don't care about the AP poll because the college football playoff rankings are out. Pitt is one spot below Georgia Tech. It's just absolutely insane. The AP poll is so flawed, and it's all because of the way how that thing is constructed. It's not a vote. It's a point system. It's stupid. But, yeah, they'll probably lose to Georgia next week. You don't know. That game was 8 overtimes last year, and Georgia Tech had 6 or 7 wins. But, yeah, look, the extended playoff has kind of opened the door for Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech really, when they lost to NC State, it was like, well, you're done if it's a 4-team playoff. They were never going to make it. But, they already have 9 wins. You could win a bowl game or beat Georgia. 9, 10, maybe even 11 wins. That is like a program-defining thing for Georgia Tech. So, I would be disappointed. Maybe you're not up for the playoffs. You could you could maybe get in if there was just absolute chaos, but I really doubt it. But yeah, I would be very happy if I'm a Georgia Tech fan. A great season. Haynes King, Heisman guy. Obviously you miss losing your receiver, but the next game, and I think this was a 4 p.m. game. And I'm talking about this because we all know in Columbus what is coming next week. And that is the scumbags of the earth. Michigan, number 18 in the country, 15 in the AP poll now, probably 16th in the college football playoff rankings, maybe 14. We'll see where they land. Versus Maryland. And I was a little bit wary of an upset for this game just because of what has happened the week before Ohio State for Michigan the past couple of years. Last year was the exception. I think they won 50-6 against Northwestern. But before that, you almost lost at Maryland, which I don't know why. I guess maybe they played Maryland last year at home. You almost lost at Maryland. I think it's like 31-24, 31-25 or something. And the year before that, you almost lost to Illinois. And the year before that in 21, I think you almost lost to Nebraska, I think, or something. Maybe that was in 22 too. But they have struggled the weeks before Ohio State. This one was not like it, just like last year. This was maybe Michigan's most complete game. They were up 21-10 at half over Maryland, and they ended up winning 45-20. Bryce Underwood played very well. He was at over 200 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns. Justice Haynes, the starting running back, the transfer from Alabama, he is out for the season. And with Marshall being banged up, their third-string running back, junior Bryson Kuzdal, had 20 carries, 100 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Obviously, that's 5 yards a carry. That's pretty good. Maryland, not a good team at all. I thought they were good. I kept trying to put on hope for them just because I wanted to still believe in Mike Locksley, and Malik Washington had flashes this year. But no. But, their defense allowed 20 points, and Ohio State has allowed 20 points all year to anybody. So maybe you could look at it like that as a win for Ohio State. But, yeah, Andrew Marsh, the young freshman receiver, I think he's a freshman, with another good game. He had 75 yards and a touchdown. Just like Ohio State, Michigan was holding players for this game. Ohio State held Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, which it sounds like people are reporting that it looks like someone said there's a 30% chance both of those two receivers play for Ohio State. Looks like Jeremiah plays. I don't know about Carnell. I don't know. I don't like this at all. I hope he plays. I am begging that he plays, but Michigan was holding out some players just like Ohio State did. These ones for more different reasons. Like Jordan Marshall, the running back, he's just banged up. He should play for against Ohio State. I doubt he'll be fully healthy. Samaj Morgan, the receiver, who I know Michigan fans have a lot to say about him, he was also out. Ernest Hausman, I'm not going to get super into what he was going through, but he had the whole incident thing on the plane, and it sounded like he was not going to be back for them. It sounds like he is back. So he wasn't with the team last week. He should play in this game, which is good. I want them to be healthy, and I want us to be healthy too. But I would assume they play next week. I assume Jeremiah will also play. Hopefully Carnell plays. I know Jeremiah will. That man has been very publicly about how much he hates Michigan, and it's his birthday. He's not. Matt, you're not gonna play against Michigan on your birthday. It's like, come on, you're going to. Carnell, I don't know. I really want him to play. I think they should push him out, see how it is. If it's iffy, pull him. But if you're up by 17 in the late third quarter, then pull Jeremiah. I would say keep everyone else. Maybe just pull Carnell. Maybe keep Jeremiah in a little bit. My biggest worry is that they're going to twist up Jeremiah's ankle and he's going to be out for the year because they're scumbags, which they are scumbags. But yeah, that is all I have for that game. That was probably their most impressive win. But I'm trying to think, what are the other games going on? Okay, so I'm just going to go through these ones quickly. Louisville at SMU. SMU killed Louisville 38-6. Wow. Penn State hosted Nebraska. They crushed Nebraska. Obviously, they don't have Dylan Raiola. And if they win next week, they will be bowl eligible after a 3-6 start. They are 5-6 currently. Hopefully, they get to a bowl game. Those players and those seniors really deserve it. I doubt they'll play, but they at least deserve a chance for some of them to play. And obviously with Penn State, they're all talking. Sounds like the players really want Terry Smith, the interim coach, to be hired as the full head coach. I think that is not a good idea. They have lost 17 commitments in the 26 class, and early signing day is coming up in a week and a half, 2 weeks. So watch out for them. The best game of the week, Kansas State at Utah. Wow. Wow. This game was incredible. 51-47. Kansas State, I think, was up. Let me just bring it up. The box score on this one is crazy. Here, let me bring up the box. I can go. So, yeah. Kansas State is up 31-21 at half. Then Utah gets 2 touchdowns. It's 35-31. And then Kansas State scores 2 touchdowns, and now it's 47-37. They go for 2. It's intercepted for a pick 2. and now it's 47-37. Then Utah scores a touchdown, down by 3. Dampier has a huge run on 4th and 1. They score a 1-yard rushing touchdown. It's 51-47. What a game! I mean, there was 1,100 total yards. Both teams had over 550 total yards. Utah, they had 259 in the air. Kansas State had 102. Kansas State had 472 rushing yards on the ground. Utah had 292. This is just what we love. Dampier, 1833, 259, 2 touchdowns. Avery Johnson, 12-23, 102, a touchdown and a pick. Joe Jackson for Kansas State, 24 carries, 293 yards for 3 touchdowns. What a fun game. I want to see how much Avery Johnson had rushing. He had 72 rushing yards for a touchdown. That one was fun to watch. That was probably the best game of the day. Tennessee kills Florida 35-11. This game was only 35-3. I think that was the score at half. TCU hangs on against Houston, and there has been some teams like Iowa State, TCU, Arizona State, Oklahoma, where every time I pick the wrong team, they win. I pick them, they lose. You know what I mean? So I pick right for the upset against Houston. They hang on 17-14 as Houston misses a last-second field goal to tie it up. And I think that's it. So let's recap. Let me jump over to the board so you guys can see this absolute bomb that I went on. You can see the picks for next week's. Where's my mouse? We went 9-4-10. And the Georgia Tech pick was one of the last. I guess, was that one of the last games on? Yeah, it was. We were like 9-0, 8-0. I think the BYU Cincinnati was the last game, but I picked Oregon over USC, Oklahoma over Missouri, BYU over Cincinnati. Got that right. SMU over Louisville, Penn State over Nebraska, Utah over Kansas State, Texas over Florida, TCU over Houston, Michigan over Maryland, and just so close to a perfect regular season week. We have one more week, but man, next week has a lot of really hard matchups, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to predict it. I doubt I'm going to. So it looks like we're not going to be able to have a perfect week this year. Got very close. Georgia Tech sold. Should have maybe stuck with Pitt. And that will bring our total up to 62%. So we can actually maybe get to this 65% for the end of the year. I was perfect except for Notre Dame, Penn State last year in the playoffs predicting. So I think we can get this up to 65%. We just have to do well next week, and then obviously in conference championship and bowl games. Maybe we get a perfect on bowl games. That's kind of the last chance we got. But that is all I have for that. I'm trying to think. The last thing I want to do, who's on the hot seat? And honestly, I could say Mark Norvell, because he lost to NC State again. He will be coming back. Luke Fickell got a big win. Hugh Freeze is already gone. And I'm going to do a little bit of an unconventional pick, because I could say Mike Locksley. No. I'm going to say Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's on the hot seat, because maybe not of getting fired, but Lane Kiffin, and I'll do a video when this comes out. It looks like it's going to come out during conference championship week when he's going to announce it. But they're like, you got to make a pick after the Egg Bowl. Like, you're doing this now. Sounds like he already has a decision. Josh Pate's saying he already knows the decision. I don't believe that. He rage baits and clickbaits all the time. But man, if you lose the Egg Bowl and then you bounce on your team, that hot seat's pretty hot. Who wants you? That's kind of, you've already kind of broken up and cheated on all your other girlfriends in Tennessee and USC and, you can even say FAU, but Lane Kiffin, you're on the hot seat, buddy. That is all I have for you guys today. Make sure to hit subscribe, hit the like button, turn notifications so you get notifications every single time I listen to a video. Also, if you are interested in watching Ohio State versus Rutgers, the reaction video that is up on the channel. Again, YouTube doesn't want to promote that video, which whatever, I get. It's Ohio State Rutgers, but if you're an Ohio State fan, you want to see that, it's on the channel. I'll pin it right here. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching the video, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. And thank you. Go Bucks. Hate week.